Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. I have Carsten Wendt here from Wallenius Wilhelmsen to give us his perspective on the managing rates and capacity panel that you just finished.
Yeah, thanks, Leslie. Thanks.
Right, so here you are, Ro-Ro carrier. Did you find that, did your perspective on where rates, capacity, et cetera, are going, did that differ from the others on your panel?
No, it is the same at the end of the day. I mean, it's all related. I mean, we are all, at the end of the day, we are all in the same segment carrying breakbulk cargoes. Of course, we have a different dynamic in the Ro-Ro industry, so we are much affected also by the car industry. So it's like a supply and demand in this aspect. But you can say there are a lot of similarities when it comes to capacity needed and also cars available. So yeah, it's like it's a crazy time, I can tell you. It's really crazy.
Right, and there's just so many variables and supply chain issues still.
Yes, I call it a little bit like there are little fires everywhere.
Ah, I like that, exactly.
And as I said, so when you look at the world, so there's not this single event. Maybe back in 2008, it was more like a single event,
right,
which put us into a problem eventually. But here we have multiple events, and they're affecting our supply chain. So I picked a few, like the lockdown in Shanghai, which has a huge effect on disruptions. There's labor shortage in all parts of the world. So also here, it's not only one part, it's Australia, West Coast North America, Northern Europe, Bremerhaven, Zeebrugge, but also you have the same in South America. There's simply no labor available, just to pick a few. And then of course the war in Ukraine is also affecting us heavily.
And what kind of impact is that having? What are you seeing?
The war itself, I mean, first of all, it's a market which goes away. So not only the Ukrainian market, but also the Russian market. And also just to give you an idea about how it affects the shipping industry, all the cargoes which were bound for Russia, they are now piling up in the ports in Bremerhaven or Hamburg. So now
I did not realize that.
You cannot go anywhere with those. So for example, you had a lot of big container vessels waiting at anchorage in front of the estuary Elbe to enter the port. And one of the port representatives said, I'm glad there is this lockdown in Shanghai, because without that lockdown, the volume would be even bigger.
Oh my gosh.
And then the other part is, when Corona happened, a lot of companies, they thought about, okay, we have to rethink our sourcing strategy. So they realized that when we are too dependent on Asia sourcing, we might have to go back to Europe. So a lot of companies thought, okay, let's go back to Europe. Ukraine was one of them. So then they decided we go to Ukraine, and then the war happened. Or the other factor is, and we talk a lot about ocean, but also the inland side is affecting our supply chain heavily. Think about all the drivers you need in Central Europe to deliver the goods to and from the port. And again, it's a lot of Ukrainian drivers which you need, which are not there anymore. So it has multiple effects.
So how long will it take the market to rebound, if you will, or fill the gaps, drivers or other things?
Yeah, it's very hard to predict, but at least I would say we have to be prepared to stay on the current level for at least another year or two. Really? I don't see any signs why this will change. So first of all, we talked about that in the panel, it's the supply side. When we look at the Ro-Ro industry, when we look on the multi-purpose fleet industry, it's basically a stable level of capacity. There are not so many new buildings coming in, unlike for the container guys who invested in a lot. But in the Ro-Ro industry, we haven't, like Wallenius Wilhelmsen, we haven't even decided yet what kind of fuel system we're going to use. And even if we place the order today, the vessels will not come in before 2025, 2026. So we have a tight capacity at the moment, and I don't see any signs why this shall change over the next 3 years. So we just have to be prepared to be on that wave going forward.
Okay, all right. Well, that is a lot to think about, but let's turn quickly to this event. We haven't been together for 3 years. How does it feel?
It's great, and I have to say I love to be back. It's so nice to see so many friends, customers, colleagues again from all over the world. I mean, we managed quite okay with digitalization and Teams. I mean, we even had sessions.
We did, and we had your son in one of
daughter,
those.
exactly,
your daughter.
yeah.
That's right, your daughter.
So
that was great.
And I have to say, what it showed us that like home office, it's working, and I mean, we were able to manage. But then also what you realized after a while, our business is still a people's business. So, and it's about personal relationship, it's about trust, and you cannot build relationship and trust over Teams call. So you need to see people face to face, you have to spend time with them, and a conference like this is the perfect venue.